Over the years, I've learned that the best motivation to present an idea is to come with a spirit of giving. It's really funny, you can see this. When you see when someone has something to sell, when they want something from you, they want you to sign up for their Facebook, join their Facebook fan page or become one of their Twitter followers or buy my product or invest in my company, the way they present is about themselves. They're selling all the time, and it's actually off-putting. Unless there are selfishly motivated people in the audience, in which case it's a transaction. It's not actually something inspiring. But when someone shows up with the desire to give, to share an idea, to share a perspective, to share a new product, to share a new way of looking at something, people are much more receptive. Though there may eventually be some sort of reward for the presenter, showing up with the desire to give is actually the best way to achieve that. And the amazing thing is when you show up wanting nothing in return, when you show up to share what you've learned, to share what you know, to present what you've discovered, to share your idea, your perspective, whatever it is, with no desire for anything in return but to share this idea, people become fans, people become curious for more, and that's when the ideas of trust and cooperation start to evolve. So all presenters, regardless of what industry they're in, when you show up with the intention to give, the desire to give, it immediately makes the presentation vastly more effective. Very often people start talking about themselves. They start by offering their credentials. I've got 6 PhDs and I've run 7 Nobel Prizes and I teach at this esteemed university and I work with some of the biggest companies. In other words, they start by presenting their credentials as if to say, I'm qualified to tell you what you're about to hear. I found that that's actually not very helpful. Remember, when you're starting with a notion of giving, you're not going to start talking about yourself, right? So immediately those who start talking about themselves, it starts to become alienating for the audience. That stuff's important, but not to start a presentation. The other thing that I found is not helpful is to start with facts and figures. In other words, you're going to start by building a rational argument as to why this is important and why you should listen to me to get to this end state. Again, good stuff, better for later. Better, the facts and figures will come inside the jigsaw puzzle. They'll come later. They don't help capture people, their attention. It doesn't help by getting people to lean and say, this will be interesting, right? Because quite frankly, it goes right to the neocortex. It's a thinking thing, and it sort of starts to create, it's not emotion, it doesn't suck people in. So really the best way to get people to pay attention and to set up the scene that you're about to present is to start with some sort of story. Some sort of story that is emblematic of the end result. The techniques for presenting are not just for presenting ideas. You can present designs, you can present products, you can present innovations, you can present policy, if you like. It all is the same structure. You have to show the benefit, the end result that will come to life. So let's talk about a car example. A car salesman trying to present this new car. Very, very often what starts to happen is the car salesman starts just by telling you what's in the car. It's got, great gas mileage, and it's got leather seats, and it's got, a big engine. And they just start throwing facts and figures, hoping that they're making a compelling argument for something. And again, they're showing up with a taking mentality, sell the car. Now, what if you showed up with a giving mentality, right? It begs the question, sort of, what are you buying the car for, right? Well, I'm a parent and I'm trying to get my kids to school every day. That's really all I need. Okay, imagine this. Imagine, painting a picture, right? Imagine that you're living this life where it's easy to get the kids in and out of the car, where when you're in the car, it's peaceful and fantastic, and your kids love traveling with you in the car. It's not a burden. It's not a big deal. You never have piles of mess in the car. It's sort of this remarkable life that you're living. Is that something that's interesting to you? Well, of course it is. Well, now let me tell you how you'll get there. We have big sliding doors that kids can get in and out easily. We have TV screens so that they're entertained while you're driving. We have these carpets that lift up easily so that you can easily clean it so it always stays nice and easy. The point is I'm not selling the car, I'm making the argument, I'm building the facts that support the image that we're trying to get to. And it's just much more compelling because people don't see themselves in the car, they see themselves in the image that you painted at the beginning. Zig Ziglar said it best: people don't buy drills, they buy holes. And so instead of talking about the drill, we have to talk about the hole in the wall. So it's really important that you understand what you're going to be presenting. Now, understanding doesn't just mean the technical details of your product or service or idea. It also means understanding the people who will benefit. So for example, the hard work isn't just understanding all of the spark plugs and electronics of the car. You actually have to have a deep understanding of the people who will buy the car, of the people who will benefit from it. Understanding is more than engineering. It's actually human. And any idea that someone has to present, the minimum standard is to understand their own product or service. But it's vastly more compelling if they understand, they've done research, they've done work, they've spent time with, best one all. They are one of the people who will actually benefit from, use, and enjoy whatever product, service, or innovation they're proposing. So understanding is more than the technical. Understanding is also understanding the human beings who will derive benefit.